What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
Vover. All right, cool. Well, thanks for everyone for joining here on Vover. We are doing a season preview for FC Helsingør. We have our sporting director here, Brian Gellert, and the club's CEO as well, Jim Kirks. I'm Jordan Gardner, the chairman and owner of the club. So really excited to ask some questions for Brian in advance of the start of the season. Jim's going to give a little bit of background on the club for those of you who aren't familiar with it. And we'll go from there. So maybe, Jim, if you want to start, a little bit background of the club, Danish football, Danish first division, for those listening who are not super familiar with that.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. The club is FC Helsingør. It is right now it's in the first division in Denmark. And about 3 years ago, Jordan put together an ownership group that was looking to buy into European soccer at the time to maybe start moving some American players in and see if we could get them up to a speed in Europe that then could be sold on. And that was the original idea. And I know he had shopped around and looked at a bunch of different clubs, and he'd fallen into Denmark and kind of said, this is where I think we want to be. I think the level of football is high, or soccer is high, and I think it could be good. I know he looked at a number of clubs, and FC Helsingør had been in the second division, in the first division, in the Superliga, and then back down into the first division. And they were looking for an influx of cash to sort of stabilize the club and maybe take it back to the Superliga. And he had spent some time in 2018 and then in 2019 sort of negotiating and then coming to a purchase in March of 2019. They picked up the club and started organizing and made some changes. And one of those changes was me. They brought me in June of 2019 to sort of help get it set up and get it running. They built a new stadium, and there was a bunch of little problems with that. And so it was sort of get the stadiums going, get the team going. And we had been relegated, unfortunately, in the last season. So we were down in the second division. So it was sort of like a rebirth and a rebuilding of the club to make a run back to the first division. And so we had a really good season. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way a little bit and stopped it for a while. But we prevailed, and we got promoted back into the first division last year. This is a really condensed version of what that happened. A lot of drama, which is the beauty of pro rel. So that's great. And then we played first division ball last year, and we did even better. We finished top four, which in Denmark is quite an accomplishment. They split at mid-season, and the top 6 teams fight for promotion, and the bottom 6 teams fight not to be relegated. Which I think is actually an interesting way to do it, and it's quite fun to watch, and I think it makes it more entertaining in the end, personally. So yeah, we finished 4th. We did well, and now we took a bit of a break, about 3 weeks. We've been back to the preseason was educational, and now we start on Friday playing in the first division again. I think with a stronger team, which Brian will talk about. And so that's sort of the short background of the club. And in terms of, Danish football and Danish first division football, if you're an American, I think it is a step above. And you can agree or disagree. I think it's in between. I think some clubs are as good as MLS clubs, and I think it's maybe in between MLS and USL. And on a really good day in the final, when you've got the last 2 teams battling each other, those top 6 teams, I think it's on par with MLS. And I think that it's faster, it's more technical, it's European soccer, if you will. So I think it's incredibly entertaining to watch. And if you are a football fan, you would be remiss not to at least try to find it. I know that they put a Superliga team on ESPN, once a week. So maybe sort that out and look to see if you want to see some Danish football easily accessible in the United States. Jordan, is there anything I missed? Would you like to add anything in that ramble of mine?
No, I think you hit all the good talking points. Thank you for that. Brian Gellert, our sporting director, was previously the assistant coach, which I'll tell you about prior to our acquisition of the club. Brian, maybe tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to the club and what you're all about.
Yes, of course I can. Yes, thank you for having me here. Yes, my name is Brian Gellert. I'm 44 years old, living in Old Skår, little town, 10 minutes away from the Helsingør Stadium. Born and raised in Kolding, which is 2.5 hours west from Helsingør, where I spent started my football career until I was 18 years old. Then I moved to Italy, from Italy to Greece, from Greece to England, and then back to my home city, Kolding again, before I moved to this island and played for HB Køge, which is now in the same division as we are. Then I moved to AB Copenhagen, which was a big club by then in the Super League, who is now in the second division. And from there, I went back to Kolding again, my hometown, and then I became an assistant coach for a year. I went back to the island over here where I met my girl, Marianne, also called the Queen. We have 2 kids now and living up here north. And then I had a former friend who was working in Helsingør, and he had a talk with him, and then I joined the club for almost like 10 years ago now, and the first 8 years an assistant coach. Then I came in with Jim and Jordan. Had a talk with them when they took over mainly Jordan took over the club, and I started as a chief scout. And from that day on, we've just been working together, and now I'm sporting director primary on the Danish side. So yeah, that is basically my background. Where it all started, and here we are.
Yep. No, thanks for that. That's great. So looking at the squad, had a fantastic season, especially in the spring last year. We made a couple changes, not too many changes, but a couple new guys coming in, a couple guys leaving. Where do you see the changes? How do you see the roster kind of changing, hopefully in a positive way from last season?
Yeah, I mean, mainly our focus has always been and will always be to do things better here. And I think we did it again this year by having our sporting council with Jordan, Jim, and our coaching staff together. We always look to bring in better players. And this season we brought in, the most important thing for us was to bring in, having maybe a smaller roster, but more quality. And I think the guys we brought in was Kasper Inghardt, who has over 160 Super League games from Randers and mainly Randers and Lyngby. Was the captain from Lyngby. We brought in a massive signing. For me, the best defensive player who is in the first division. We brought in Oliver Drost, who was also played Super League in Vejle and Horsens. And we took him from Kolding, where he was the top scorer and scored 11 goals last season. And then we have another Super League guy, Peter B. Christensen, coming from Super League team Sønderjyske, who's a striker also. So I think the 3 guys we have in now is a massive improvement to an already very, very good roster. And I think that was mainly the thing for us to raise the bar and getting in guys who has been on a higher level, because we are aiming to be in the best league. And to go there, we need guys who've tried it and who's just recently been there. And all these guys have just recently played Super League football, and now they are in our roster and ready for competing in the first division. So I think we made some very good decisions and some tough decisions. It's always difficult to say goodbye to some of the very, very good players who've been here for many years, but sometimes that is the right way, and that's necessary to make these calls. And I think our sporting council did it, and I think we have succeeded with it again. I think for me now, I think the most important thing is when you look at our roster now, it is better than the last season, and that is how I think it's supposed to be. So we're having the first game on Friday, and I have a very, very good feeling in my stomach that we are ready to compete. So yeah, very happy.
Good. Yeah, me too. So what, looking at the first division going into the new season, there's been definitely some kind of turmoil at some clubs, lots of coaching changes, some clubs dealing with off the field issues. How do you see the first division looking going into this new season?
Yeah, it's always difficult to go into a new season in the first division because there's so many unanswered questions. Of course, we've been following all the clubs, what they're doing, especially with the transfer window, who they're signing. But as you correctly said, there has been some major change. I mean, Jammerbugt is coming up from the second division, getting foreign owners in, bringing in 15 new guys. So that is a difficult thing to know exactly where they are. We will get a lot of answer this weekend. You have Vendsyssel again, who the former owners bought the club again. You never know what they're going to come with. And then you have Esbjerg also, got new guys coming in. So, but I would say, I think the first division again, I think it's going to be a very, very strong first division again. There are some middle teams, quite a lot of them. And then I think there's 5 or 6 teams that are on the same level as we are, who's going to compete. And I look forward to it. I think the first division in Denmark now is it's a very professional. I think a lot of the clubs are really trying to make it more professional, and I think it's for us. It's important to have that competition to every weekend play against some teams who is mainly on the same level as us, so we can always develop and match ourselves every weekend. But having said that, I still think in our position, I think we are in a very good position, competitive-wise and roster-wise, to going into the new season this coming weekend. I think there's a lot of good teams in the first division, but I think we did our job very well, having our roster ready very, very early in the transfer window, where a lot of the guys with new ownerships are coming in now, still trying to sort it out, learning the Danish culture, how it is, and bringing in the right guys. And it just takes time, so everybody knows that. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot of answers the coming weekend from where all the other teams are. But I'm confident. I'm very confident that we are in a very, very good place ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think most people realize how good the first division is, with the top division, the Superliga, only having 12 teams in a country as strong footballing-wise as Denmark. I mean, if you look at teams 1 through probably 5 or 6 in the first division, those are teams that easily could be in the top division in most, countries in Europe and many of the smaller countries in Europe. So,
yeah. I think I made some counting. I think actually 9 of the teams are full-time now. I think there are 3 teams who's maybe mainly part-time then, and they, even though they have also some full-time players. So yeah. It's a very good, it's a very, very good league.
So just 1 or 2 more questions. I don't want to take too much of your time, Brian. So we have two young players from Helsingør who are at the Olympics with New Zealand, Eli Just and Cal McCow, which I think is super exciting for all of us. How do you see the Olympics helping them develop as players? They're both very young. They'll be hopefully back probably by our second or third game. How do you see that affecting them positively, hopefully?
I think it's mainly all the young boys. Even though when I was a kid, it's to have a chance to play at the European or World Cup or the Olympic. That is just a massive achievement. Even though you can say some of them are playing for small countries or bigger country. I mean, you're just playing against the best young guys around the world in these tournaments, and there's so many eyes watching you. And you see every time there's been a World Cup or Olympics, if you just have a game or 2 where you're doing very well, I mean, your life can literally change within a game or 2. And having said that, I think for us as a club also, to have guys in, and that's mainly you, John, you brought these 2 guys in. It must also be a fantastic thing for you. I mean, I feel blessed to watch some of these games, and every time they mention FC Helsingør, I think we should be very proud of us having in the big world. We have guys who's playing in the Danish first division and who's competing for the nationality, and they're playing for us in 3 weeks from now. So and for these 2 guys particularly, I mean, it's if they perform very well, which I think they will do. I mean, their life can literally change within a week or 2. So I'm just happy for them, and I know, and I had one of our assistant coach, Mikkel Thyssen, is a best friend with Winston Reid, who's a New Zealand guy. He scored at a World Cup against Italy, and look where he went to West Ham and just boom, 1 goal against them. So that's how fast it can go. So for these guys, I think what a dream come true.
Yeah. For those listening who are interested in watching their first game, it's this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be 1 o'clock in the morning, California time, 4 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. And I think it's on the NBC Sports app. So if you're interested in watching that, I think that's a better time zone for you guys. I think that's 10 a.m. on Thursday for you guys. Brian, last question, just hopes, goals, expectations for the upcoming season. What do you expect and what are you hoping that we can accomplish this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think big dreams, big hopes. I think right now I have the feeling in the stomach that we have a better team than last season. And I hope we can get more points. I hope we can win more games and then let's see where it can lead us to. Having said that, I think also I'm looking forward to all the new guys we brought in to see. We got a smaller roster, but I think we got more quality. And how will that end up in the games? I mean, we had some period last season where we got some suspensions, we got some injuries where maybe some of the guys we put in didn't have the experience or match fitness or tried to play on that level before. Now I think we have like 22 guys just ready to compete. So I hope that every time we get some issues, I think we're ready to stand against that and always have quality team on the pitch. And hopefully we can keep, what's the right word for that? Keep trying to even be better to develop our system about how we play, to do it better, to win more games, to have more quality in it, and be more confident. But that's the hopes and wishes, and the confident about it is for me very big. I think I think we've been as a club very thorough again about bringing in guys, and you guys, our investors, everybody keep supporting us, and our environment this year again, not only on the player side, the environment has also got a very big lift. More food, more training, more physios, more masseuses, more full-time goalkeeper coach. I mean, so I think we should have big dreams and high hopes, and let's take it from there.
Cool. All right. Well, Jim, Brian, thank you both for taking the time. Season kicks off this Friday, and really excited to see how that looks. Thanks again, guys.
Vover!